Cory Reed, Joey Gladstone, and Jay Boddie join us today on the West Buck Show. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Let's do this deal. Listen, I've never had any problem expressing my opinions, but what we're doing here is bigger than that. These are conversations that need to be had in an unfiltered way. Drag racing's all I've ever done. It's all I care to do. I respect the history, I appreciate how far we've come, but I want more for this sport, and I'll fight for it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered, this is the show of shows. The biggest names in drag racing. No holds barred. This is the great American motorsport, drag racing. Prove me wrong, I'll wait. Hey gang, West Buck here, Drag Illustrated Magazine, checking in. It is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. Hope you're doing well out there. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all those things that you're supposed to do. We really appreciate it, and it makes a huge difference. We've got a personal goal, or maybe it's only mine. I don't know that I've even sold the whole team on this, but we're going to have 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, or we're going to die trying. So anyways, be a part of the movement. Help us spread the gospel of drag racing. As I mentioned in the open, we've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be joined in about 25 minutes, I believe, by the one and only Cory Reed. Just had a career-defining moment in Norwalk, Ohio at the NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Nationals. Massively incredible moment for the sport of drag racing. I think an all-round feel-good story to see Cory Reed in the winner's circle, his first pro stock victory after a storied career in pro stock motorcycle. We're also going to be joined by Cory's best friend, longtime friend of ours here at Drag Illustrated, Joey Gladstone. So we're going to shoot the breeze a little bit before we break down the fast approaching Grudge Bowl. Grudge Bowl coming up at US 60 Drag Strip in Kentucky. That is, I think, 12 days away, something like that, a little over a week. So excited to have Jay Boddie on to talk about that. $100,000 up for grabs in grudge racing. Very exciting times. There's all sorts of things to talk about. We got PDRA rules drama. We got the NHRA Norwalk Nationals. We've got the first IHRA national event, their return to professional drag racing coming up in a couple of weeks. So lots to cover here on the show. Before I get any further along, let me introduce my co-hosts of the West Buck Show, Mike Carpenter, JT Hudson. What's up, boys?
What's
you
up?
Doing good?
What up? We got the all black memo like 4 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, man. Maybe I should break out another color.
Anything drag racing, right?
It is. I mean, you can't
pretty much. How can you tell a drag racer like from a mile away? It's black on black on black on black. Black hat, black shirt, black pants, black shoes. I mean, that's pretty much the only safe bet.
I get a lot of shit in the summertime because all my t-shirts are black. All my polos are black, besides some golf ones, but I'll be at the golf course and I'll have on black and it's hot, and they're like, "What are you doing, man?" And I'm like, but I can't wear anything else. Like if I buy a white shirt or a red shirt, I get to wear it like once or twice, and then next time I put it on, it's got a big stain here. I dropped a bunch of rum or something.
Mine are typically covered in rubber. I went to the shakedown at M-Town a few weeks ago in Michigan and made the kind of big mistake of going straight from the airport to the racetrack without changing clothes. So I showed up with like this olive drab green t-shirt, which is one of my favorite shirts, and a pair of like light greenish New Balances that I really like. They're kind of like some legit dad shoes I'm a big fan of. And literally I walked toward the starting line and I'm like, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. And within 2 runs, I am doused in rubber particles. My shirt's ruined.
It's
my jeans
pretty crazy
are ruined,
how quick it happens.
It didn't take any time, man. Remember when I bought those red polos and I was wearing them? Yeah. It was like after one round, it was just had shit all over it.
Well, you were like JT's classic. I want to be a little different. I don't want to wear what everybody else is wearing. And I'm on that. I mean, I subscribe to that memo, but it's an impossibility at the racetrack. Do you remember when the Goodyear guys wore those badass white sublimated shirts with the yellow and blue? And it's like really stood out. The Penske guys, Penske Racing also had white like crew or team uniforms. And I
Norwalk always had their people in red, white, and blue shirts and white pants.
So crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you'd have to basically trash that stuff. I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, like,
you can't.
It happens. But sometimes you'll go to a race and not get any rubber on you. And then you'll go like the next time and the first burnout it hits, you're coated. It's like it
When we
depends
did
on
the pro
it depends
race,
on the traction compound and what cars are running, what tires, how hard they're doing their burnout. I think it's a lot of factors.
Agreed. Whenever we did the pro race in 2024 at Bradenton, I remember every single thing that I brought down there is ruined. Like everything.
Well, you stand up
on the
there the
starting
whole damn
line
time.
for 20 runs of nitro 2-3 times a day. Yeah, everything you own is trash. But it was a small price to pay for what I think is still one of the greatest moments in drag racing history, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, so what's new and exciting, guys? You what's going on in Northeast Missouri, JT? I missed you this weekend in Vegas. We got to do that again. And
I didn't even know you guys were going, man. And then all of a sudden,
we had to sneak out.
Yeah, is Mike and Wes in Vegas? I'm like, no.
Well, I had a couple of meetings, and
and I'm like, shit.
Well, it happened fast. You know what I mean? And those deals, for me, we talk about it a lot, but I just love seeing other events. Yeah. You know, I feel like I learn a lot by going to the drag races, and I've seen a lot, and I've learned a lot about what to do, what not to do. But when you go to these like extremely choreographed shows, like the Power Slap or like a UFC, you really see just what a really masterfully done event looks like, because they just don't miss a trick, from the hospitality experience to the ingress and egress, the way they get people in the venue, the way they get people out of the venue, the way they keep things flowing during the event between matches. It's just masterfully done. And I feel like I go there every time with
a lot of money helps with those situations.
It sure does, man. I mean, and that's probably the biggest thing, is that the resources that are required to do those major productions are so incredible that it's hard, because I get real caught up in like, I want to do whatever it is that they're doing. I don't really ever look at other drag races for like inspiration as much as I look at Major League Sports or the Savannah Bananas or the NBA Finals or, you know, the Super Bowl. Like that's where I'm trying to steal ideas from. And I sometimes have to check myself like, okay, Wes, we're still drag racing. We're not quite there yet. We got a little bit of ways to go, you know, but hey man,
it's always good to take that stuff away, and you got to have the right mix of people. And I just feel like it's something that there's so much going on in Vegas, but I feel like it attracts a crowd, you know, a lot of influencers, but maybe that's similar to like what we were talking about with drag racing, that are looking for that type of event. It stands out amongst, I mean, I think the UFC always has, but Power Slap, I think, is just the way they do it. It's a totally different deal than UFC. I think a lot of people think that it is the same or it's a totally similar vibe. It's really not. And it's quickly become one of my favorite things.
It's really incredible, to be honest. But I think that's something that the business model or their promotional market or model is so intriguing, because they don't really rely on traditional marketing venues. I mean, you don't go to those events and see a bunch of television commercials or radio advert or hear a bunch of radio advertisements. They lean on influencers. And I honestly think that's something that could be adopted by the sport of drag racing, because how many times have we had this conversation that once you go once, you can't wait to go again. You just got to see it. And you think the way the Power Slap does it, for those that don't know, the Power Slap is this kind of relatively new project by the same minds that birthed the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And while the sport itself is exceptionally barbaric, the way they have gone about drawing a crowd is by inviting influencers and putting them up and getting them in there for free. And again, that's something that requires resources. But I think about all the drag racing opportunities that if you had the resources or you had the right connections to bring in a bunch of these YouTubers and bring in a bunch of these content creators and just expose them to what we're doing and give them free reign to create content. I mean, that's the biggest thing. For every celebrity you saw, every influencer you saw, every content creator you saw, they all had a camera in their hands or a camera crew following them around. And if we could bring some of that energy and get some new eyeballs on the sport, I mean, I know that's our plan going into the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. Like, we're lucky down there in Florida. It's a great place to be that time of year. You've got Tampa nearby, so you've got some population centers that you can lean on with professional sports teams. And I know that's what's been going on the behind the scenes here at Drag Illustrated the last few months, is making those reach outs, making those connections. Like, what do we got to do to get some of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out to the drag races? What do we got to do to get some of the Tampa Bay Rays, but
not even just having them show up and just hang out and, do their thing, but to have like their crews show up, or to have the Bucks themselves kind of follow, hey, we're following XYZ, our superstar player, to the event and then making content out of
100%.
that. I think that's a great point. It's not just getting those people in the building and then making them feel good. It's actually, that's your ROI, is that content you're getting on the back end. I've been watching a few videos from the events that we were at, just watching some of the stuff that was created. Like, oh, you missed stuff, or you weren't aware of like all the different layers of things that are going on. You kind of just have your own experience, but being able to relive it like 2 days later via all this content is a big deal.
100%, man. I mean, it is such a difference maker, because I think it's like exposing, you're latching on to all these audiences. Our producer, Blake, in the green room, we've talked about this for literally like 10 years, is like leveraging these other people's audiences and transferring that audience to yours. And it's a challenge, and it's a process that takes a lot of time. But even if you capture a small percentage, 1% of the millions and millions of eyeballs that those people have on their platforms, it can't help but make an impact. I see a comment here from Drag Racing Mayhem. I love all their, you guys do a great job of providing us some great talking points, but honestly, I think we should be doing everything we can to turn our drivers into influencers. And I couldn't agree more, but it is like something of an uphill battle to get people to subscribe to that mindset and like subscribe to the fact that they've got to put themselves out there. They've got to create content. I think we've seen a whole world of that birthed during the Winter Series and immediately following. Like, I know we point to them a lot, but Steve King, the winner of the World Series of Pro Mod, got a weekly podcast, constantly putting video content out. Jason Harris doing the same. I mean, it's great to see these guys really leaning into it.
You know, like right now, because it's so saturated and there is so much content out there and it gets buried so quick, and you work your ass off on something, and you put it up and you're so proud of it, and it performs awful. And it, it's really easy to take the wind out of your sails on stuff like that. And then you'll put up something that like you don't even really give a shit about, and all of a sudden it takes off, and you're like, now what? I mean, it's hard to figure out. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
You got to be so. You got to stay on top of it all the time.
But I think it's
like a new industry.
It is.
But it's like
in our space.
I think there's two different things between what we're talking about and making the drivers the influencers. Because if you were going to relate that to like Power Slap, I would say that the competitors were not the biggest influencers there. And no. I mean, you had some, and you have some of those competitors that lean into that more than others. But by and large, I still feel like they're there to slap the shit out of somebody, right? And everything else is secondary. If they get to that level and have a team behind them, it's actually more relying on these outside influencers from other walks of life to bring your eyeballs onto that sport. So this is, in this situation, it'd be like, grabbing those outside eyeballs to bring them into drag racing versus sending Antron Brown or someone to wherever, and he's the influencer. I actually don't think that's the play. I think it's the opposite way.
Did you get us signed up, Mike?
For the next slap? Hell yeah.
They're having one
going to go at it
this fall, and that may be a solid play, guys. We could do a celebrity.
I'm in. I had him going there, that I did sign us up the last time we went. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
This is the first one we went to, and we've never been. And it seems like pretty much anything goes. Yeah, and if there's like the amateur sign up sheet was in the men's bathroom or something, and you signed up for it.
Well, we had to go to the ATM. So what was that? A Commanders player that lost all his money to me.
Oh yeah.
What good times we have had.
Yeah.
Honestly, what is he? Drag Racing Mayhem. In F1, the drivers bring the fans in. The sound isn't enough to get people to tune in routinely. Got to get your drivers to become stars. 100%, man.
But if you go to an F1 race, part of it of being there is seeing all the celebrity influencers that are also there. So there's any event that has that kind of prestige or is trying to achieve that has that level to it. And I think NHRA has done a good job this year. I think I want to give Josh Hatchett a shout out. One of our good friends, former colleagues here at DI, big sports fan across the board. He's taken it kind of on himself to try to get, an athlete or someone like that at each of these NHRA stops. And then most recently he had Greg Anderson throwing out the first pitch at the Cleveland Guardians game, which, is always a good play. So having him kind of in that role to make sure that something to that level happens, I think, I've noticed that more in the last couple of years than ever before. I don't know about you guys.
100%. And I put that squarely on Josh's shoulders. I think he's done a fantastic job of starting to do some of that cross pollination or whatever you want to call it, cross marketing. And it was, I mean, we saw it. Matter of fact, I mean, these guys practice what they preach. Like throughout the Power Slap event, they were actually promoting their other sporting events, because the same group that owns the Power Slap company also owns Travis Pastrana's Nitro Circus. They also own Rob Dyrdek's skateboarding league, SLS skateboarding league. So it's like they're promoting those events during those, and it's pretty masterfully done, man. There wasn't an empty seat in the house, and I can't help but believe that having those type of celebrities in the audience makes a difference. Stipe Miocic was in Norwalk, former UFC heavyweight champion, solid local celebrities, also like an awesome human being, a firefighter, and like a beloved
he does the
character in
GovX
that part of
thing,
the
right? And GovX has some kind of affiliation with NHRA. I don't know if you guys see those commercials during NHRA TV. They play a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the official uniform partners. About everybody's wearing those pants. You know, it seems like everybody's got those things on at the NHRA races.
I'm in uniform today.
I see that,
you are.
man.
You're fully branded.
Fully branded. I've got the standard all black T-shirt on. That's kind of like
I don't wear polos like to the track and stuff very often. You know, because I'm just kind of a T-shirt guy. But I don't know. Here lately, I've been kind of a kick of just wearing my work polos because you know you don't get
they're nice,
dirty that way.
You're having withdrawal, JT. You're missing being at the track. You need to wear your stuff.
I am having withdrawal seeing people.
I am. Is it time to go back to Florida yet? It's kind of in the summer doldrums right now.
Well, we've got Yellow Bullet to look forward to. Our first time going to the Yellow Bullet Nationals. I'm really excited about that coming up Labor Day weekend. Go up and check out Jim Halsey in the Blacklist Pro Nitrous Camaro. Excited to see the new hot rod in action, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I was talking to Jeff Salvato and a handful of other guys that are going to be up there that I don't get to see that often. And I'm genuinely looking forward to it. It's become one of, I believe, door slammer races like crown jewel events. It's one of the ones that people look forward to. They circle it on their calendar. They're there for a week. They turn it into a festival. It's a big party. And I'm actually excited to go. It's always been a challenge. Same weekend as the NHRA US Nationals, which I've been going to every year for 20 years, but it feels like time for a change. So I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
Really pissed off at us.
I know, man.
Jason. Bartender. I haven't broke it to him that we're not coming.
Well, the fact that you have his number is kind
of
of explains most of the story there. I said the fact that you have his phone number and chat with him, on the regular, that tells most of the story right there.
That does tell most of the story. Well, hey guys, real quick, before we bring on our first guest of the day, we got a lot of ground to cover. So I want to dive into this and remind you that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of our friends at Stroud Safety. Stroud Safety is known for their top quality racing safety equipment, from drag chutes and seatbelts to fire suits and blankets, all 100% made in America. Log on to StroudSafety.com today. Make sure you tell them we sent you. Our first guest of the day here on the show, we're super excited about this. It feels like it was a moment that we were all just kind of waiting with bated breath to happen. This past weekend at the NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Nationals, Cory Reed, one of the most beloved characters in the pro pits, in the pits at any drag race, scored his first career victory. Let's give it up for Cory Reed and his partner in crime, best friend, the one and only Joey Gladstone. I think this is Joey's first appearance on the show. I tried to get Joey on here like 4 years ago, and we didn't get it pulled off. We got what's going on, guys? My mustache wearing friends.
We got a fifth guest down there.
We got a fifth
What's up, buddy?
What's up,
That's
little
Theodore.
buddy? Hi, Theodore.
What's up?
My name's Wes. I'll see you at the drag races soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's made a couple of appearances over there in the
Thank you, better Mike.
DHR bus. Oh yeah, no doubt. You and your better
what's
half.
What's going on, boys? Have
you
guys stopped celebrating? Are you back home? What's the lay of the land right now?
Yeah, definitely not stopped celebrating. That's celebrating with T-Man right now. Just left Bass Pro. Left doctor's appointment this morning, then hit Bass Pro. Now we're at the big house, about to throw a little shark boat we got in the pool and tool around. So.
Oh yeah, man, I love it.
Last time we had you were on the dock, so like we've got you at least in the house this time, but probably not for too long till you go out there and hit the water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't resist. It looks like you're at the shop, Joey.
Yeah. I'm coming to you live from my assembly room here at KB Titan. I've kind of. It's funny. It was kind of a sport. And, there wasn't much room for for the motorcycle stuff when we first got here. So I just cleaned everything out and made it my motorcycle assembly room. But now all I do is the customer engines in here, and I mean, and it's kind of a place to get away from everything too.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot going on in that KB Titan shop at any given time. You guys got a lot of irons in the fire. It's kind of crazy. I want to talk about that, like this whole story. Like, why don't you tell us how did you guys initially get together? Because I got to tell you, and I don't want to play the video just yet, T, but I do want to just like your reaction on the starting line when that wind light turned on in Cory Reed's lane was, I mean, it gives me goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Fell to your knees, you're grabbing at your hair, and then you see Cory fighting back tears when he's being interviewed by Bruno Massel down on the top end. Like, what a full circle moment, I have to believe. But like, how did you guys initially get together? Young guys going pro stock bike racing. I mean, I know that obviously you guys work together on the bike program, but how did all this come to be for those that don't know?
Well, Cory, you want to take it or you want me to take that?
We were in Englishtown, I believe, right, Joe? Yeah.
No. The first time I met you, it was Valdosta at the man.
Well, yeah. First time we met, and the first time we really hung out was English.
First time we hung out was Englishtown. Met, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I think we both kind of figured out that we were the two young guys in the class. We both had common interests, and including having a good time at night and carousing around the pits, as some people like to call it. But yeah, I remember being like having a few drinks and riding my scooter and doing something that I ended up swerving and almost crashing into a fence, and then we kind of bonded over that. We had a good laugh over that, and then that season I was kind of like riding on fumes. I was like I was kind of staying in the trailer like when I could, didn't really have money for hotels and stuff like that, and one time Cory asked me, he's like, hey, where are you staying? And this is probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 races into this season, and he's like, where are you staying? And I was like, I'm gonna sleep on the trailer floor. And he's like, nah, dude, I got an extra bunk in my camper. Just come stay with me. And so I stayed with him that weekend, and then I just like crashed in his camper for the rest of the year. And I ended up like just tagging along with his family, because his family took me in like I was their own. And we all like doing the same stuff. We all like fishing and having a good time and being around good people and occasionally drinking. But
nothing wrong with an ice cold Coors Light, right? I mean, it wouldn't be a weekend with Jim Whiteley if there wasn't an ice cold Coors Light involved. Right. So Cory, like when you reflect on like the beginning of that relationship, which I know 5-6 years ago, sometimes it seems like a long time, but it's really not, especially in like drag racing. I mean, that's to see this whole thing come from crazy moments in NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle, now scoring your first win together. Like, what's it mean to you to have had Joey alongside you through all of this? I mean, I'm sure anybody who has followed the sport for a long time or intently remembers the infamous crash whenever you went down on your bike and Joey jumps off his and is running down the track in his full leathers, going to the aid of his dear friend and hollering for the EMTs. Like, what do you make of being able to do this with Joey alongside you?
It was 8 years ago. That started in 2015. My rookie year was 2016. His was 2017. And 2017 is when me and him really started hanging out. And I made a brother. Point blank, as easy as I can say it. That's literally he's family member now. We've moved several states together for real. It's so hard to even get anybody to move for a job, more or less than like kind of a hope and a whim of an opportunity, and like we had to go make it happen, so having him just fully commit and be like, yeah, dude, I got your back, we're gonna do it together, it's been a very special thing. So it's like I forced him to be my brother.
But I mean, listening to that story, I mean, I know Joey and like so many of the people that watch this show and that have been involved in the sport of drag racing, they know the sacrifice and the struggle that this is, right? Like no matter where you're racing, it's all relative. I tell people all the time that are like, well, I race this, but I don't run pro mod, and it's like they try to downplay it, but I'm like, hey guys, It's all relative. You know what I mean? We're all pushing as hard as we possibly can. And wherever you got to get in where you fit in. what's it like to have gone from those Joey like sleeping on the trailer floor days to now being a part of the KB Titan conglomerate, which is, you know, a dominating force here in the sport of drag racing right now?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and especially like when you put it like that, that makes it seem even cooler. But yeah, it's been a long road, and I've had to, you know, trust the process. You know, like it's sorry, I'm trying to put it in perspective. But and I lost you. It kind of distracted me.
It does. That is distracting. Sorry.
It's very distracting when it goes full camera on you. But I mean, I'm sure like trying to, I think that it's good for people to see that it's possible though.
It
right?
is.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, I see all these young guys at the track and gals, excuse me, that are just like on a hope and a prayer, you know, like maybe we do well this weekend, we'll catch somebody's attention or whatever. And I think like for us, anytime we have the opportunity to like show what's possible, right? Like this can happen. Right? You can find yourself sitting in a shop with Greg Anderson.
Especially with drag racing. It's all about like work ethic and staying at it. Drag racing is gonna kick you down so much more than it's gonna like, you know, hand you these, you know, fairy tale things. But these are the moments that we live for, and that keep us going. You know, it's sometimes you go years without having that. I mean, like for example, Cory's been chasing a Wally for 10 years now, and I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen, you know. And we just, you just stay persistent with it and work hard and try and make the right decisions and surround yourself with these amazing people, you know, like they're, you know, these things happen. And I think that's why the emotion that you see on the starting line, I was very, very happy. Like you want to celebrate and like, yeah, and do all that. But it's like, I felt this like sense of relief for Cory that he got he got his first win. Like it's here. Thank God it's here. You know, like, it was
monkey off of his back.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And just coming back from that accident. I mean, I'll remember, I think Cory, the first time I met you, and it was shortly after you had your surgery, or one of many, with that, you know, I don't even know what you want to call that thing that was on your leg that you had to go through, and you were explaining, you know, what you had been through and what you were going to go through to complete this process, and to go from that to, I think what you're saying too is like, drag racing recognizes your heart. You know what I mean? Like when you've got that heart and you got that fight, you two saw it in each other. You've kind of followed that path from 2 wheels to 4 wheels now. And like, you're not going to go very long when you got that kind of work ethic and that kind of will to come back from something like that to end up, you know, where you are now with this Wally. So it's like, I think everyone in drag racing, like we talked about, could see this coming and is happy for you guys to have, like, you know, crested that mountain. And you know, once you get that first one, it's like, here comes a flow of them, and you guys in the KB Titan team are just in position for that right now.
I hope so. I really do. That'd be awesome. That would really make it even better.
But let's talk about Norwalk a little bit, because you talked in your interview, like, you know, you've had really realistic expectations, and maybe this is a good segue to talk about the transition from 2 wheels to 4. You know, we've had Matt Smith on this show 100 times talking about the nuances of riding these motorcycles that I've always been interested by. Like, I don't think that gets talked about enough, and all the different kind of styles and approaches that go into that. But I'm curious about, you know, what has that transition been like? I mean, we'll start with you, Cory, just going from racing 2 wheel. And I kind of always, the way I knew Cory Reed was, he was on that motorcycle for the foreseeable future, right? That was where I felt like your heart was. But I was so excited when I heard you were going to climb behind the wheel of a door car, because I looked at you and I'm like, okay, this young man's a character. This could be really good for drag racing. What has that transition been like? I mean, obviously it's ended up in a win, and you're well on your way. But I'm sure were there some surprises or struggles along the way?
Absolutely. I always say it, doing a burnout in that thing was hard at first. It really was. I destroyed the transmission the first time I tried it. They made me a sweet medallion necklace, which I should carry around with me more often, because it's actually pretty bitching. But no, just strapping into something. And me and Joe have talked about it a little bit, like for him getting into a car, he's always scared of being like claustrophobic or strapped into something. And I'm like, dude, you could do it, like it's no big deal. But the first time I did, I strapped that Hans on my head. I'm like looking at the sky. Okay, 1 minute, Bubba. Okay.
You want to go swimming, Cory?
Yeah, we'll go when we're done. We ain't going nowhere. Hey, you want to sit in my lap? Come here. You can chill with me. Here, just chill with me real quick. But yeah, no. So it's backing up the car. There's no mirror. You're like every now and then. Joey could probably tell you he's the guy backing me up. Sometimes I turn the wheel the wrong way. I'm like, oh crap. It feels awkward. You can't look around. You don't stage with your feet anymore. You're staging like with a clutch pedal and trying to do it right and do it the same is a little more difficult because we could bump the beam with the front tire, roll back out of it real easy and know where you're exactly at for staging. Now me and Joey have a little program where he lets me know in general gist of how far I am from the first bulb, and it's gotten a lot better over time for sure. More and more passes, obviously, it just gets better and better. I was surprised that it happened as quick as it did, but then again, like. We've been racing for a long time. It wouldn't surprise me if Joey hopped in something too and did the same thing,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Joey, on your end, like just working on these things. And I mean, it was well known you're like had your own engine program and you were a force to be reckoned with in pro stock motorcycle. What has that transition to working on a tube chassis door slammer with shocks all the way around on it and a different clutch and a whole lot more horsepower to handle? What has that process been like for you?
Well, it's been a lot less stress for me. I think that me transitioning away from riding and kind of getting out of the spotlight like that and just concentrating on the task at hand with the car, it's been really good for my mental state and stuff. It's these guys have developed these routines, like this group of people, KB Titan have developed routines for every single job on that car. Every car has an engine guy, a back half guy, and a clutch and transmission guy. I know some of the drivers actually do one of those roles, but they're all like nailed down to a science, like where all they had to do was show me the way, and I can and the processes that have worked for them, and it takes a lot of the mistakes out of it, and I don't have to develop my own stuff. I can tweak on it a little bit, but that part's been pretty cool. And the clutch and transmission job, it's a very important job. It's gotta be right. Everything's gotta be, the measurements have to be right. It's and then reassembling, like disassembling and reassembling transmissions, you can get lost very easily in that. So, but it is really cool when when the car's going down, like especially like something like in the final, it's a mad throwdown thrash to get the clutch back right, to get it cooled down the proper amount, and build a tranny in 15 minutes and get everything set back properly, and then it goes down the track and my buddy cuts a 12 light and it shifts all the gears. Like that's a really cool feeling for me, and it's just as good as, for me, if not better, like as far as my feeling than riding it, than riding the motorcycle. So it's been a really easy transition for me, man. I'm really loving this.
I'm glad to hear that, man. JT, why don't you go ahead and roll that final round and we'll go through this.
1 minute. What was that? I'm sorry.
A lifetime achievement for these two men to record a victory together. Cory Reed, 12. Dallas Glenn shakes the tires. Cory Reed is a first-time winner in Pro Stock Eliminator. My goodness.
This moment.
Gladstone falls
This right
to his
here.
knees on the starting line.
This is why we do this.
Cory Reed, for the first time, is an NHRA champion here in Pro Stock, the Summit Racing Equipment Nationals. You went through a murderer's row to get to this point, to hoist that Wally. As the Caveman, how good does this feel, brother?
This is incredible, man. Wow. I've been watching my dad win these things for a long time. I'm lucky enough to work with a great team. Oh my God. Yeah, it's incredible, man. I'm lost for words. It's hard to talk. I want to dedicate this, though, to Willie and Diane, two people that have literally been with me since I started motorcycle racing, and they need this. I love you guys. Thank you for everything.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What a moment. Joey mentioned it there. 0-12 against Dallas Glenn, one of the most feared drivers on the starting line in the sport of drag racing. You talked about it a little bit, but I'd love to riff on it a little bit more, Cory. Like, pro stock is nasty as perhaps it has ever been. I mean, there's a ton of great drivers. There's some fresh blood, some guys that are known for going 00 or 010, 012 pretty consistently. You showed your own ability there in the final round with an 012 light. Were you up on the wheel? It looked like that thing made a move pretty good in low gear, but were you up on the tire? Did you know that was what it was going to take to get around Dallas?
Yeah, I knew absolutely. Going in, even in the semifinals, man, I honestly, I felt like I got lucky winning the semis against Greg with a 50 light, you know. I thought he was going to murder me off the tree because I was struggling already. And then like I said, that left lane just must have went away on our guys because everybody started shaking in it. And, you know, kind of just knowing we're going to the right lane, it's getting hot and greasy. Everybody's going 60 foots instead of 970s now. It was definitely you got to be prepared to drive through something at some point. Then also, too, like when going in the finals, I told Joey, I said, dude, move the linkage. I don't care how many clicks, just put it on kill. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to just hit the tree as hard as I possibly can. And I was completely ready to go red, too. Like if I screwed up and went too hard. Hold on, T-Man, 1 minute, okay? And so, like, one of them things, it just sucks that it took to the final. But I'm glad we got it done in the final. So it would have made the day a little more confident in myself if I would have started off, you know, ripping a 30 light and then maybe a 25 and then maybe a 19 or then a 12. That would like you just change the carts a tiny bit, one increment and get a response. You know, we made a move and it worked. I'm very proud that Joey, me and him can talk like that and we can both agree. And he knows too of like, every time that he ever went red, I was so happy that he went red just because I knew the guy tried his best. So I knew I was going to disappoint him. So, and that was, you know, that's definitely a worry of mine is letting down my guys, especially when we got a race car, a really fast car. And it's, you know, they've got a handle on everything that's going on. And then you screw up and it's like, that sucks. But I know for a fact, no matter what I do in the car with Joey, I can come back to him and he's going to look at me and be like, no, glad you tried. You did your best, and I would have been mad at you if you didn't do your best, you know, so.
Well, and what I noticed was 066, 066, 056, and then I love to see a driver that will rise to the occasion because we've seen multiple times throughout like the history of drag racing that you'll see a guy that's off this weekend or somebody that's off. They're just having one of those weekends, and it kind of it ends up being their demise, right? Like, hey, we just never really got together. But I think the fact that you knew, hey, in this moment, we're going to have to leave nothing on the table. To me, that shows me a race car driver. I mean, Joey, what was your take on it? I mean, did you have any nerves whenever he said he wanted to go on kill and take some linkage out of it and shorten that throw up?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous. I mean, like we were kind of going into like uncharted territory that we never tried, and it's a ballsy move. But Cory's a ballsy dude, so like, and he told me, he's like, nah, dude, I got it. So I had full faith in him that he could do it. You know, and then
Joey, you said you better hold the pedal down, and I was like, I will. Don't worry.
I did. I said you better hold the pedal down. Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is how much like static clutch pressure that thing has, especially when you start revving it up. I mean, was that at all a surprise to you, Cory? Just like what it takes to hold that pedal down?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's you talk to Dallas, the guy's so good. He knows he can lighten up a little on a pedal and then squeeze it hard when he needs to. Like, I don't know that. I just know I got to have it to the floor and make sure it doesn't kick my foot off because it will. And it's one of those things I knew about it because, you know, my mom and dad race alcohol cars, so they've dealt with that for a long time too. It's just, and when you finally start doing it and then you start trying to like float a pedal or cheat the pedal a little, then it bites you in the butt a couple times, then you kind of get a little gun shy. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just so happy that we had a plan and I just started hammering the pedal to the ground. And no matter what, I just do the same pressure and I'm just trying to release the pedal as fast as I can and let the car do the work. Yeah. So now I'm hoping that we can return to a racetrack next time and do the same thing and hopefully get a 20 lighter better and kind of be in a comfy spot for the rest of the year with that thing.
Yeah, it's a new car too, right? I mean, I think that's the second race with that
new car.
You've been in an older car up to this point. Has that been any change or anything that's thrown in the works? I mean, obviously it looks like it's going to be a winner, but like I said, you've been in an older car up until now.
We got Theodore getting ready to give us.
trying to strap the guy up to get in the pool. Yeah,
He's
the
locked
new
and
car,
loaded.
dude. Like we poured a seat right before Bristol, and they cut the seatbelt holes out, and they were a little screwed off. They were like going above my hips. I was all bruised up afterwards. That sucked. But then the guys got it back to the shop. They fixed all that. They moved the steering wheel down away from me a little. It was in my lap for that race. And in Bristol, same thing. I couldn't cut a good line to save my butt. But also, I was just like, you know what? New car. We need laps. This isn't about necessarily winning this race. It's about getting consistency and getting the KB guys some real racetrack data in a real at a real race. Okay, buddy, hold on. And then, I kind of made the decision like that's all I got this weekend. But we have to get good data, so don't screw the run up. Don't try to cheat the pedal. Don't do nothing fancy. Don't try to more or less make the weekend successful in a different form. So the new car, though, is definitely a lot more comfortable. I think the more races we get with it and the little more changes we do, it's going to just keep getting better and better. That's really nice now is the older car, they were running a little different than the new cars. So now stuff they're doing on Dallas and Greg's cars really working on my car too. And, dude, I'll tell you what, John DeFlorian came up to me in Bristol and said, man, I'm glad you're in this thing already because this car is going to be fast. And then he wins in Norwalk. I win in Norwalk. He gives me a big old freaking hug on the start line afterwards, the winner circle deal. And he's like, see, I told you. And I was like, that new car's pretty bad. He goes, I'm so happy it's fast, all this stuff. Man, that's cool. Having a guy
one of the
from
best
the
dudes, man.
shop, they're cheering you on and keeping a tab on one of his babies that he built. So, all around, it's cool. And I can't wait to see the car get a little more seasoned and see how much faster we can actually make it.
John DeFlorian, what an incredible human being. I've been lucky enough to call John a friend for about 20 years now. And it's like people don't realize the impact that he has on a lot of these programs and the amount of cars that he's touched, the amount of cars that he's driven. And you're right. I mean, it's cool to see the dude out there racing. The same guy that's building these cars through the week is out driving across the country, driving his own tow rig to some random drag strip to unload his own hot rod and see how he does. It's a pretty amazing story.
Heck yeah, it is.
What was it like, the reaction? The one thing that I thought was really cool, and we'll cut you guys loose soon. I know you got other things to do, but I'm just curious, like seeing the celebration across the board. I mean, Alexis DeJoria is down there going crazy. Spencer, Tom Wooten, the DHR crew, I know they were cheering you on from all points of the country. Like, Joey, you're part of that as well. Like, you guys have been in this sport for so long. Cory, much like me, grew up at the racetrack racing with our parents. Like, I think it was a magical thing to see this huge coming together that I think everybody felt good about seeing Cory Reed in the winner's circle.
And yeah, it kind of, reminds me of when Joey won finally. There was a huge group of people down there for that same thing. And congratulations for a couple weeks straight and all that. I said it yesterday. It feels really cool when you are in an industry and you love an industry for so long, and then you start being part of the industry, and then like you get some success and you see how many people like are really on your side and really want to see you do good. And man, it shows when all them people do it and you got big crowds cheering for you, and then you roll around and people are like, you're on the golf cart, people are yelling your name, and random people you didn't even knew you are coming up and talking to you and all that stuff, like that feels so good. It feels so rewarding and I can't thank everybody in the whole industry enough for the love and the support, but for me and Joey and everything that's just gone on is just, it's such a relief to feel that,
Well, dude, I can tell you there's a whole lot of people that were cheering you on during this deal because I heard this secondhand through our buddy Tom Wooten and of what Greg Anderson had to say after the fact. And I text Greg this morning, but it's like, this is so good for pro stock to see some different faces in the mix. Like, these are the things that create aspirational culture where a guy goes, man, it can be done. Right? I don't have to be Greg. I don't have to be Erica. I don't have to be Jeg Coughlin Jr. to find myself in the winner's circle of a pro stock race, which is well known as some of the most difficult cars to drive, one of the most competitive classes in all of pro stock or of all of drag racing. So to see a fresh face, somebody new in the mix, I think it's going to be great for pro stock long term. What was the reaction like from your teammate? I mean, I'm sure Greg and everybody, and it's like, I'm sure Dallas obviously wanted to win that race, but I think even Dallas was pretty damn happy to see you get it done.
Oh yeah, I could say that for all them guys, absolutely, they are. I mean, shoot, they're my coaches too. You know, they're just teammates at that point. They're the guys that taught me how to drive the car. So why wouldn't they want to see somebody that they've spent time and effort on trying to teach them how to do it and do it right? You know, and it's like Dallas is literally always up in our business, making sure if we need something, he steps up, he comes right over, he'll adjust something on my car while I'm racing him. Or he'll tell me, like, all right, dude, you're doing this screwed up, you know, like all those types of things. And for Greg to say that, he literally grabbed me and Joey and he said, dude, this is good for post. Hold on, baby. I'm almost done, okay? You little turkey.
Oh.
But yeah.
Is that a real shark
to say
behind you
that.
there? Spin back around. I saw a fin.
Yeah.
Yep. You better run from that,
Yep.
Theodore. It looks
Shark
dangerous.
boat.
Dude, you got a remote control shark?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
At Bass Pro, bud. Hey, dude. So Parker Miller, my buddy, him and Theo have a pretty good relationship, and they like talking about fish and whatnot. So we're in Bass Pro, and we go to the big fish tank, and there's always this big catfish in there, right? And he goes, "Where's Charlie Parker?" I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Like Uncle Park." He's like Charlie Parker. I was like, "What the heck, dude?"
Man,
They're
making
just
those
naming
lasting
people.
impressions.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the winner's circle, Willie and Diane dedicating the win to them. I'm just curious, like, could you give us a little context on that? Because I could tell that was like a really meaningful thing for you.
Yeah, man. They those two people are some of the two most selfless and nice, giving, caring people that I really know. They literally just come to feed me and Joey. They you wake up, Willie's outside filling up your gas cans, getting your generator running when the kid and wife are still sleeping. All that nonsense. Oh yeah, the duckies.
Yeah, you'll be laying in your camper in bed in the morning when your generator's supposed to be out of gas. You're supposed to be getting hot, but it's like, man, my AC's still going, and then you go out, the generator's full, and it's like, oh my God, Willie, like, and then you hear like your door open, and there's a breakfast sandwich in there for you. It's like he's just like they're the kindest people in the world. Like, we're so blessed to have them coming with us. I'm pretty sure Willie bought how many Wallies did he buy my first win, Cory?
Like 15.
Yeah, like he's just, I don't know, they're special, and it's not, and it ain't just about like doing that doing stuff for us and like all that stuff. It's the emotional. He'll like, you know, he just wants to be a part of it, and he wants to help, and he's the kind of guy that like he'll ask you if he can help you. You'll tell him that, yeah, can you do this for me? And then he'll get it done, and he'll say thank you. Like, it's wild, man. Like,
Thanks you.
Yeah.
It is pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
I
awesome,
tell
man.
people this all the time, that like our sport, the drivers get a lot of credit, crew chiefs get a lot of credit, but it takes an army of people to do this, especially at this level, like week in, week out. It's hotter than hell out. You're bouncing all over creation, sleeping in hotels, sleeping in trucks and trailers. And it's amazing to me how many people buy in at the level that they do, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially the people that aren't necessarily getting to, get their thrill going 200 miles an hour in 6 seconds. It's the people that are just guilty by association. It makes me think of the drink hard guys and all these guys that are like so invested in what happens.
Yeah, you guys have a big crew,
Absolutely.
Everywhere you go. And I think that just speaks to the support that you've built, like you said, Cory, in the industry. And just you just saw that explode this weekend after you guys won. But it's just that's something you guys have been building while you've been out there.
It's pretty amazing, man. Last thing, Cory, I got to hear what your dad had to say. Hopefully it wasn't for me to go screw myself.
No, not at all, man. I mean,
what did he have to say? That had to be a proud moment for him.
He FaceTimed somebody at the end of the track. I started talking to him, and I think he was pretty teared up. He really didn't have a whole lot to say other than that. That's some pretty cool shit, And he told me several times to make sure I enjoy the evening and soak it all in, because you never know when your next one's coming.
It's the truth, man. Well, guys, Joey, Cory, thank you all so much. Go enjoy your afternoon. We appreciate you spending some time with us here on the West Buck Show, and I can't wait to see how things when the NHRA rolls out west in just a few short weeks, and see if you can keep this deal going.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for having us on.
Appreciate you, boys. Stay out of trouble.
guys.
We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Peace.
All right, guys, let me take a quick second here and remind you that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of Redline synthetic oils, formulated to win, proven by you. We're talking about a brand that's trusted by the best in the business. Ty Tutterow, Steve Torrance, Callie Mills, Spencer Hyde, Scott Palmer, Tommy Franklin, and the list goes on. These aren't just weekend warriors. These are champions, killers, and contenders who rely on Redline oil to get it done. Formulated to win, proven by racers like you. Check out their full product lineup at redlineoil.com. JT, Mike, what a cool moment, right? I mean, it's just, I'm super happy for Cory. I was
texting with Tom Wooden, and I was like, man, I've never hung out with these two, but I'm pretty sure like we'd be BFFs in a hurry.
There's no doubt, JT. There is no doubt, man. It's kind of a tragedy that we haven't gotten you out to more races to hang out with those guys. I mean, honestly, when I get to the track, I beeline it down there to the DHR compound to hang out with all those guys. And then of course, Cory and Joey, you're going to see them down there as soon as they get a chance. So really, I think it was awesome to see a dramatic difference in Cory from the last time we had him on. Yeah. I can't remember what the situation was the last time we had him on the show, but much more subdued. You can tell he's like weightless today. Like he just has that
and how about that
vibe about him.
I mean,
it just crushing the dad life too. Yeah, I mean, major props on that too.
Yeah, that was some serious dadding. I'm in on that little remote controlled shark thing. I want to get one of those. JT, you need to get one. You've got a pool.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, get on Amazon and get one of those coming. You need to just like throw one into any pool you see at a hotel.
And
throw it in.
And we also, we didn't really touch on it as much, but what Joey's been through on a personal level, beyond just his career and everything, the situation with his wife and child a couple years ago. And just overcoming that as well, and then transitioning from two wheels to four. Those are just two guys that are easy to root for.
Oh, these are really like $30, man.
$30 for one of those shark things.
We got to get these just to throw in the pool at like
anywhere you go. Every hotel pool is now going to have a shark swimming in it from here on out. That's the way to do it. Man.
You could probably put a little rope on it with cooler. And have it bring you your beer.
No, then it loses the element of surprise, man. We're trying to scare the shit out of people with that.
I literally noticed it immediately. As soon as he kind of panned the camera over, I'm like, what is swimming in that pool? And so I mean, I guess he mentioned the robot shark thing earlier, but I just didn't piece it all together until I was seeing it really happen. But I was kind of hoping it was a shark, and I really wanted to put it past the Whiteley family to like have a pet shark that's swimming in the pool. Like, we got a tiger shark, got it at a swap meet. I just threw it in the pool. It's kind of adapting to the chlorine. Yeah, that's why we got a saltwater pool so we could have a shark. I wouldn't have been surprised by that at all, man. Oh, man. Before we bring on our next guest, I do want to just run through the NHRA weekend, man. I mean, we talk obviously a lot today about pro stock, but a solid weekend across the board. They had a hell of a crowd out there despite the heat. Justin Ashley takes out Clay Milliken in the final. Justin kind of doing what Justin Ashley does, 0.27 light in the final, wins on a hole shot over our longtime buddy Clay Milliken. And funny car, man, what do you make of this, Mike? I mean, what we're seeing out of Austin Proc, we're seeing a dominant performance from KB Titan, right? We've seen Matt Smith be dominant in recent years. We've obviously seen Gage Herrera be almost unbeatable in NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle. But correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like what's happening with Austin Proc is like the beginning of a real potential dynasty in drag racing.
I mean, we saw it just right from the get-go at the Pro Superstar Shootout. He rolled out, which was actually a really cool thing I think we could talk about. If you remember that, they tested all that week at Bradenton leading up to it, didn't make it down the track. And I mean, he was at one point, I think we were up there doing something, putting up signage or something, and he just kind of walks up there with like his hands in his pockets and like looking down, just like, contemplating life at that point. Like, was he going to be able to do this, or was this going to work? And then come qualifying and race day, the switch just flipped, and it has not turned off since then. Because every week I'm on my drag race bracket bonanza, filling out my bracket, and I'm like, I get to like, the semis. I'm like, there's no way Austin Proc's going to win again, right? Oh no, we got to put him into the final. There's no way we got to have somebody knock him out here in the finals.
Think about this. Like, there's, if the cards wouldn't have fell just right, you would have never seen this kid in a funny car.
That's another one. That's crazy.
I mean, that's pretty wild when you think about it. We may have never saw this.
I mean, the guy's been in 100 drag races already in a few short years, right?
Which is wild. That
which is
includes
wild.
the Top Fuel stint.
Yeah, and it does. But I mean, he's got 16 wins and 10 runner-ups. I mean, it's like I mean, that's insane. I mean, if you really go back through the history of like how many guys have had that level of success in that many starts, I have to believe he's in pretty rare air. In 2025, he's 20-6 in round win-loss record. I mean,
yeah, and compared to like pro stock,
even has other options.
Right. Well, you see that in those numbers. You see it in the betting odds that we track. But these things blow up. Like that's what I always think about Top Fuel and Funny Car. It's like you can be dominant, but you just can't sometimes predict what these things are going to do. And even the best team will just go out there and grenade one or just blow the tires off, whatever. More so than obviously pro stock and pro stock motorcycle. So to have, what'd you say, 16 wins?
Yeah, 16 career wins in 100 races, along with 10 runner-up finishes. So I mean, that's 26 final rounds in 100 drag races. In that round record, 20-6 in 2025. But here's the other career statistics that I think are pretty interesting. He's qualified number one 21 times, and this is a really interesting one: 0 DNQs. Austin Prock, as a professional drag racer, has never failed to be above that line, 16 or better. And I think, you know, at this point in time, with the level of competition, the resources it takes to race Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, that is a massive accomplishment in and of itself. I mean, he's got to be getting towards some sort of historic mark with the amount of races he's entered and qualified.
Yeah. And then in Pro Stock Motorcycle, another cool win, kind of off the radar, John Hall with his first win since 2013. So that's another cool deal where somebody that's been out there battling for all these years, now with a good bike underneath him, Matt Smith Racing, got good sponsorship. He's up there. I mean, he's up at the top of the field almost every week, and he's a threat. I think you've really seen, and I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, just the dominance of Gage Herrera over the last couple of years has elevated that class to where everyone else has stepped up their game to compete with him. And you're seeing them definitely compete with him now. He's not the 100% dominant force that we saw over the last couple of years. Even from his own teammates, we're seeing increased competition. So I think when you see something like that,
class in drag racing has to go through that, right? Yeah. I mean, we've seen it across the board.
I think we're seeing it in pro stock too. I mean, that's exactly, I think, how we got to where we are this year in pro stock.
And I honestly think Dallas Glenn was driving the bus on a lot of that. I think, you know, that 00 Dallas and constantly being killer on the Christmas tree over the course of the last few years, it seemed like everybody has had to elevate their game. Everybody's had to kind of rise to that level. And it's amazing to see that happen, you know, to see a guy be able to do that. And you're right about Pro Stock Motorcycle, man. I mean, for all the dominance that we've seen from Gage Herrera, it really feels like there's way more than one bike that could be in the winner's circle on Sunday at this point in time, man. But I remember it in 10-5 racing with Billy Glidden. You know, he was dominant everywhere he went. He shows up in 10-5 tire racing. I think he clipped the record by like a 10th. And then the next thing you know, it just everybody caught up. Like he demonstrated that it was possible. He demonstrated it was possible to do it consistently. It wasn't just one hero run. It wasn't just one magical mine shaft moment. He was able to do it consistently, and it forced everybody else to elevate. And I'm genuinely excited to see what comes next for Cory Reed, because you made a good point. Like once these guys figure out that they can do it and do it and break through that ceiling, it just seems like win 2 will come much quicker. I mean, even sometimes John Hall, I mean, we've talked to Clay Milliken right here on this very program about, you know, I think Clay went 12 years between wins. And I think that's just a testament to what this sport requires. And that's why I'm always quick to like pat somebody on the back, you know, whenever I see them kicking rocks and staring at the ground as they walk off the starting line. It's victory in this sport is few and far between, but when it happens, it is amongst the most rewarding things in the sport has to offer. But I'll tell you another thing that I think is really rewarding, and that's throwing these parties yourselves. And that's what our next guest is doing about 12 days from now, kicking off the Grudge Bowl at US 60 in Kentucky. Let's give it up for the one and only Boddie. What's up, hey, Boddie?
Thank y'all,
What's up,
man.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Man, I'm super excited, man. I feel like I'm on the West Buck show. I feel like I'm doing something right, man.
As the TV star, this dude's
Come
known
on,
from
man.
coast to coast and around the world. Boddie, man, there's a lot to cover with you. I think there's a lot we can talk about, but I do want to, you putting on events is not anything new. I mean, for those that have stayed in tune to the West Coast drag racing scene, the West Coast Grudge streetcar scene, you've been a guy that brings the group together for a hot minute. I think that's what Street Outlaws saw in you, was someone who could rally the troops, and bring a different community to the sport of drag race or to that venue. So what's it like to kind of get back behind get your promoter hat back on and be bringing this group together and throwing the party?
Man, it's a great feeling, man. Just to be back in this element environment, man, being able to strategize and create a vibe for everybody to get excited about. These guys created these big, since I stepped out of the game and coming back, they got these big $100,000 pots. And it's just what I do, man. I feel so good about being here. First time in Kentucky. I took my show on the road. Like you said, I've been in California for all these years, putting these races on. And to be able to see the support that I'm getting already, it fuels me, man. I love it.
What do you make of that the support that you have been getting? Every time I get on the internet, it seems like I see another big name driver locked in. And I think that speaks a lot to the relationships you've built in this sport. But I mean, I know it's got to feel good to see these guys coming from different parts of the country. You got your West Coast contingent, but you've also got a lot of these hitters, Lyle Barnett locked in. I see Jimmy Dale's coming down. You're going to run Little Gangstas. So what do you make of this coming together that you're kind of creating?
Man, it's just overwhelming with joy, man, to know that, like I say, I feel like I'm doing something right. I got people that want to support me. I feel like I put on a good event. I bring that excitement to a race. Just to be able to get in that element, man, to have all these guys participating all over the country. I picked this place here because the owner is great. The place is great. It's very geographically. It's
dead in the middle.
Dead in the middle, exactly. So
there you go.
With that being said, it's not far from everybody. So just being able to bring a race closer to, I feel like I got friends everywhere. I've developed a lot of relationships in this race game, and I feel like the support is just overwhelming, man.
We've seen a lot going on with the US 60. I think we met the owners and promoters that they were down there at World Series. Their name is escaping me right now, so you have to help me with that. But they were there kind of, keeping eyes on what we were doing down there and taking ideas. And I always think that's if you see another owner or promoter going to another event like that and they're supporting it and also taking ideas, they're probably going to have some good stuff on the calendar the next year.
Man, they going all in. When I tell you, they 10 toes down, both of them every day. Chris Madeline, Shelby Madeline, they just great people, yep. Man. Yes, they pushing so hard. I've been to this facility I tested when we were running Street Outlaws, and we were right close to what's the track we raced at? Beach Bend. And I came here prior to that to test my car, and the way the facility look now, in comparison to what it looked then, this guy is amazing. You see, they done paved all this concrete, new bleacher. I mean, I can go on and on. This place is phenomenal, man.
What's the vision for Grudge Bowl? Like what was the, obviously we've seen a lot of changes in our sport here recently, right? I mean, obviously the evolution of Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings, and kind of this where it's at now is in a bit of reinvention. It would look like you said, they're kind of moved to this small tire deal. We were talking to Scott Taylor on this show last week, and he kind of hinted that he kind of hoped that was more of the future of it, going to the small tire stuff. It felt like that deal maybe got too big for its own good in some regards. The level of competition got to perhaps an unsustainable point. But I mean, now you've got the opportunity to kind of chart your own path, do your own thing. So what's your vision for Grudge Bowl? I mean, obviously you got to get this one under your belt, but like, what do you want to accomplish here? Where do you see this going in the years to come?
Well, one of my main goals to accomplish is I want to make this race a yearly thing. I want to make it I want to make everybody see the potential of this place. This track is phenomenal. I want to bring back that grudge feel. I want to be able to bring the shootouts for the 100,000 as well as the grudge guys on the same playing field. So in between rounds, we have these big, I'm sure y'all seen Little Country and Fletcher Cox have a $100,000 race. We try to bring that same vibe and bring it together with the shootout. The same thing Big Jake did over in Texas. We want that vibe here. It's closer to a lot of the grudge races. So my vision is to be able to have that platform huge over here.
What I was going to ask you, like, what's the difference? I mean, you've done a lot of events out on the West Coast, and we learned this ourselves. We did the World Series of Pro Mod for 3 years in Denver, Colorado, and while I believe Bandimere Speedway has historically been the best racetrack in the country, one of the most beautiful venues in the country, as you well know, it's a hard place to race, and especially with so many of the door slammer racer base being on the East Coast, trying to get them guys to tow all the way out west. I'm sure it's a relief for you to be in a central location where you're not having to ask guys to drive to freaking California to be involved. But I'm just curious, what has changed since you kind of got in the game and were, well known in the street racing circles out on the West Coast? I mean, you're talking about guys running for $100 grand. You got everybody building pro mods, small tire cars going bottom fours at damn near 100 and 200 miles an hour. I mean, what are some of the things that you have seen the biggest changes?
Well, one of the biggest changes is everyone has a phenomenal car now. Everyone has almost the same horsepower. I mean, it's just insane how you can go to a Big Jake race and you got basically 60 Pro 275 cars there. That's no time cars, but that can run on any level. And the game has just evolved, man. It's like there's so much money going down with these $100,000 shootouts, and then watching $100,000 grudge races and $20,000 grudge races. Not only that, one of the big things that's changed is a class that I put in is called Bottle Junkies. And the smaller racers, it's a scene for them. Just like Jimmy Dale came with the little gangsters. The scene is just crazy, man. Where everybody's excited about the small tire racing, and it's just huge. Every level, the competition is fierce.
Tell me about Bottle Junkies.
So Bottle Junkies is a class that in Texas, they had the class formulated already, and it was called middleweight. And I took the class because I love this caliber of racers, man. These are your grassroots racers, the guy who work on their cars in their garage, at home, building their cars at home. And it's a 600 cubic, 699 and down, nitrous only shootout, no lockups, no billet blocks. So when you limited them there to the no billet blocks and no lockups, these are not the $50,000 motors and up. These are the guys who can afford to race, and they're fast. They get the maximum power out of these grudge cars. I'm loving this class. This is phenomenal.
It sounds kind of like what 632 maybe was originally thought to be before you get billet everything, and now you got the 632 costing as much as a 959 and running right with it. So I mean, I like that. And I think there are a lot of cars out there that are sitting under car covers that were, a badass pro mod 30 years ago or whatever that can fit that type of thing, because it's just that if racers are going to race it, right? And you take even the best idea like that, but you don't put those kind of parameters in place, and it quickly is not competitive. So to me, that sounds very interesting.
That was my goal. So I'm a grassroots racer. I come from the ground. I had a car that ran 14 seconds, and I went 13, 12. I went all the way down. A lot of guys are lucky enough to jump in one car and jump in a fast car. So I respect the grassroots racing. I love it, man. I wanted to formulate a class kind of like the little gangster class, but a little more nitrous-friendly class, because the nitrous cars, I don't want them to go nowhere. And in the grudge work game back east, they're strong. And I want to create a class where they can come out and have shootouts as well as grudge racing.
And be part of these big events. I mean, I think that's really been like, I think having Little Gangsters at World Series of Pro Mod, it gave those guys like a taste of being at these big events where the stands are packed full of people and there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of atmosphere. Then you bring them into speed promotions, and, Jimmy Dale, the Little Gangsters, is going to be part of Jake's Bear Shit Only race coming up in September. And I think that that's so important to have the grassroots sportsman guy that's, like you said, working on his own car, driving his own truck and trailer, doesn't have a stacker, doesn't have a motorhome, cooking his own food. He's not flying in a chef. Those guys and gals are the backbone of this sport, and giving them an opportunity to be a part of these big events, I think you're definitely on to something. I mean, we've obviously seen it with the success of this index style racing, but will this is a no cap class, right? Though it's heads up.
It's heads up.
No breakout.
No break. Well, yeah, you can break out 5:30.
Okay. But, no, in Bottle Junkies.
Oh, in Bottle Junkies, it's a heads up deal. It's all out. And again, to elaborate on what you said, I think that the drag racing has elevated so high that we lost like the youth. I think with the 530 class, the little gangsters and the bottle junkies, we get back down to the youth and we start pulling up the young guys back into the racing, because once it gets so far fetched where we at with these Pro 275 type of cars and up pro mods and things like that, the kids can't start off. A lot of kids don't perceive themselves being on that level. So I think that these cars, the moms and pops can put the kids back in these cars and start getting back to love of drag racing and make it back big again.
I agree, man. So we got to get your opinion on all that has changed in the Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings world. We've kind of seen guys splintering off, doing their own things. I mean, I know that you, I'm sure, will attribute a lot of the stardom that you've achieved to, you know, the opportunity that you had on Discovery Channel and all those things. But, you know, what do you make of where this deal is at? Do you think that there's a corner to turn and maybe a rebound, or what's your overall stance on it? Not to put you in a tough position, but I think we all want to know what a guy that's been there for a long time has to say about it.
No, I love the question because I'm always going to be real and upfront. My opinion, of course, is I'm an outlaw for life. You know, that this is who the world, how they found me. You know, the world discovered me through this show. We did a lot of great things and brought the racing into people's living rooms that'll never be able to make it to a racetrack. And to me, it changed drag racing, man, with this no prep stuff and all the street stuff that we showed the world that we were doing. I feel like I owe a lot to Street Outlaws, and I'll always be, my heart will always be there. You know, I'm always an outlaw. I'm an outlaw before they came to me. So being a part of the Outlaws is just me flexing my character and who I really am. But one thing that makes me believe that we still have a shot is the fans still love us. Like, the races may not be packed right now, but everywhere I go, I haven't been on the show and they ain't been showing no new episodes, and I don't know how long, 2-3 years. And I'm still signing autographs. I'm still meeting people in the airports asking me, when is the next one? When is the next one? So I just think we need to reinvent. Everything runs its course. We all know this. I think if we can figure out how to reinvent it, get us back to the ground, because it kind of went a little too far. Get us back to the ground, like they said, that maybe the small tires, whatever it is, I don't have to answer. But if they bring us back to the ground, like grassroots, start us all over. And then, like they say, you see me, I brought my son in. It's going to be our kids and our family and our friends coming up behind us. But I still think we got a shot.
I can't argue that. I think there's still a shot there. And I think that this small tire deal, this 28-10-5, may be the answer. You know, I mean, because, I mean, obviously we saw, you know, Scott Taylor win a couple of weeks ago, and that thing's got a Pro Line Hemi in it, right? I mean, but the guy he's racing in the final, you know what I mean? Like, that looked like a car that anybody could have. And not to mention John Doe, Scott Taylor was telling us that's a mild steel old race car. I mean, and it was
driven by his crew. I mean, to your point, Boddie, it's like the crew members that Scott had in the past. Now they were able to jump in and compete in that class. And so it definitely, we talked about that a lot with Scott last week, that it did bring it back down to a more approachable level. And you had a lot of young guys out there with cars that you haven't seen in a while. So I think it's definitely, I think whether they intended to or not, they hit on something right there.
Right. That's what I believe, because we kind of, when we went to the MPK stuff and the big budget.
Nope, he got a phone call.
We'll see. We'll get him back momentarily. Maybe. We'll see. I wrote that editorial about that a couple of weeks ago, Mike, and I really stand by what Boddie has to say, is that it's like this deal, what Street Outlaws meant to the sport of drag racing. I don't think we've seen anything like it since Fast and the Furious. I mean, I remember going and seeing Fast and the Furious at the movie theater in Kirksville, Missouri.
But that wasn't even, I mean, that was
it started a movement, though. You know what I mean? It started, I remember pulling out of the parking lot and everybody squealing the tires.
Well, it pissed me off because I'm like, no, we don't drag race those imports, and it's not NOS. It's like, I had a lot of beefs with Fast and Furious.
I had a lot of beefs with it too, but I think it brought car culture
I get your point, though,
to the mainstream, and it had people talking about cars and being interested in it. I mean, the NHRA was able to spin that deal off into a freaking touring series, the NHRA Sport Compact Drag Racing Series that was really successful. And then I felt like, over the course of time, as Boddie said, everything kind of runs its course. Every product has a life cycle. And it was just like, just in time, here comes Street Outlaws. And after that, No Prep Kings. And all of a sudden, it's cool to talk about cars. It's all of a sudden, it's cool to have a shop towel hanging out of your back pocket or to be a gearhead. And I think that you cannot put enough emphasis on what that meant for the sport of drag racing, because there's a lot of conversations 10 years ago. It's like, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what, this is a really tough thing, and NHRA is struggling, blah, 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 blah. And here comes Street Outlaws in this band of misfits and characters that people related to. But I do think that it grew so fast and so quickly that it's and elevated so high that it's like, this thing was, I wanted to see back half Mustangs. That's what people were excited about, and seeing cars that were hand built, in someone's garage. And it quickly became Pro Line, Jerry Bickle, Jerry Haas, Quarter
Well, you
Mac.
knew that's the way it's going to go when they take it off the streets and put it on a track where now there's no longer that limiting factor and these guys can really get after it, that it was going to head that way in short order. And I think it actually, what was it, like 8 seasons of No Prep Kings? I think they made it that far before it started. We started to see what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think if you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I think that I can remember. I think I've been on the show. I think I first appeared on the show in 2013. I think it was like 2013. So seasons wise, I can't count, but I know in 2013, and here we are, 2025, and it was still at the end. It still lasts.
Yeah,
no,
I think it's getting in front of the
thing.
mainstream, like we've talked about too. Like no matter what kind of racing it is, whether it's Fast and Furious, like you said, or Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings, it's kind of what we've missed from the big show in a lot of ways. Now I know NHRA is on Fox, it's on ESPN, and it's like our flagship, but you don't see big corporate branding. All the beer wars are gone. The non-endemic sponsors that were such a big part.
You don't have it on Do Not Disturb?
You're good, bro. You're good.
People love calling you while you're on this show. That's what happens. They call you, and then that happens.
Indico.
We'll get Boddie back here in a second. JT,
we'll get Boddie back in a second.
JT will work with you here on it.
I don't know what's going on. I'm receiving calls, and I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
If somebody calls you, that's what happens.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
I'm sorry, man. This is
no,
terrible.
you're good, man. You're good.
No,
I just was saying, I think it's about getting.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Oh, okay.
Leave
Maybe
and come
JT
back,
can
big dog.
It's terrible, man.
It's all good, dog. Oh, it's all good. It's so funny, man. These things are hard to do, and everybody's using their phone. You got 600
I don't know.
people
Sometimes that does
it.
happen. You have it on Do Not Disturb, and all of a sudden, here comes a phone call. You're like, you're failing me right now.
Yeah, you're failing me, Apple. Which doesn't happen often.
Yeah. What do you think about like what I was saying about how now these are the brands or the forms of racing? Because I like to talk about factory support and these big brands that we miss. I feel like that gets the sport in front of a mainstream audience. That's what we relied on in the past. And when all those things went away, now we rely on things like Street Outlaws or movies or things like that to get drag racing in front of a mainstream audience, because without that, man, people across the board have a misconception about drag racing, and then you're left to explain it to them. Like, how many times, and I'm sure everybody on these comments finds themselves in that position more times than they want to admit.
I feel like I have to explain it way more often than I feel like I should. But I do think that it's a direct result of, I had some conversations this past weekend with some, high-powered event promoting people, and a lot of the conversation goes back to, we have to make drag racing cool. Like, that's the most important, most mission critical thing we can do, is it has to be cool to drag race. And I think if you look back, like through the course of, motorsports history or whatever, anything, like whether it's X Games, whether it's rally racing or whatever, they've gone out of their way to associate what they're doing with someone who's cool, who's fashionable, who's trendy, who's popular, who has a following. I mean, look at what Travis Pastrana meant for rally racing. Look at what Cletus McFarlane has meant to ARCA. You know what I mean? I haven't even said the word ARCA ever in my fucking life.
Right.
Ever. Not once have I ever cared at all. But all of a sudden, one of our drag racing brethren's doing it, and I'm watching. I'm paying attention. And I think that we need more they're tastemakers, trendsetters. We need more guys like that involved in the sport. And I think what the Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings and all these various things, it introduced this cast of characters, lovable characters, so hateable characters, and everything in between. They did a great job of developing stories. And I think they could teach a class. Sam Corcus, Craig Pillion, everybody involved with Street Outlaws and Pilgrim Studios could teach a class on character development, building storylines. And I know it put a lot of you guys in some awkward positions where the way things got edited weren't really the way you remember it going down, but it made for great television. And sometimes I think that's one of our sport's big issues is that, and I see this happening with your event, with Grudge Bowl, is that like by getting in these big match races, the Justin Swanstrom versus Fletcher Cox and all these various things, you're putting on a show and you're leaning into the story. You're making it a story. It's not about just kicking the gates open, see who shows up, see who qualifies number one, see who wins. You're building up these matchups and building up these stories. And that's what our sport needs more of, is more stories. And what's crazy about it is I don't know that there's a sport on the planet that has more stories and more characters than drag racing, but we've just not done a good enough job telling them. You know?
I believe that. That's true, man. That's a great way to put it because we definitely got stories here, man. Week after week, NHRA, grudge racing, no prep racing, everything you see, shootouts. I mean, it's a story, exactly.
No, 100%, man. So do you got any favorite matchups? I mean, you mentioned Swanstrom and Fletcher going for $100,000. Is Swanstrom going to be driving? I guess I don't know the specifics of that.
Yes, Swanstrom is out of control. I know y'all been watching this dude. I don't know what's going on, but he got 3 race cars coming up here. I know I'm locked in with one racing his Mustang. It's a new car.
That's a new one.
Pretty much the only reason why I'm trying to get him before this new car get up to the rest of the cars is. But yeah, he's going to be driving. I think what's the green car is? I forget the green one is called. I forget the name. I can't keep up with all the money bag. Yeah, he got
money bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to be driving that, but he'll get in the Mustang and race me. And then I know he has the burgundy Lexus, and that's his teammate, Todd. Yeah. So it's a highlight grudge race, man. We're still working on trying to get Salty was trying to lock in with Tony Bonds, which is real grudge guys. Where we don't do a lot of shootout. Well, they do some shootouts, but not a lot. Tony,
he's a legend down on the East Coast. I mean, you go to the House of Hook, Carolina Dragway, you go to any of them spots. I mean, he may as well. I mean, he's photos on the wall.
Yes, them guys is bad as hell. And if you get in a lane, you better be prepared because they're gonna have a car at the top of the class and they ready to gamble. So, yeah, that's the highlight race. I want to see one of those. It's a bunch of lower level grudge racing guys coming in that I love to just put the spotlight on these guys and show you guys who these guys are because I mean it's some badass grudge cars out here right now. That one called Junkie B is the one that Tony Bonds and them is behind. That's a badass grudge car. Yeah,
man, I can't get over like you mentioned it. You go to Big Jake's race, and I know it's all like super faux pas to talk about times, but like these are cars that could qualify anywhere they went.
Anywhere,
and it's not like. It's not your grandpa's grudge racing where it's outdated equipment and old stuff. I mean, these guys are building the latest, greatest state-of-the-art stuff that's got the same engine that a Pro Mod car that's racing NHRA or PDRA or Winter Series has. It's come a long way. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. Tell me real quick, Boddie, I saw, Quartermax, longtime partners of ours, friends of ours here at Drag Illustrated, jumped on as one of your major sponsors, Nitrous Outlet. I mean, what's the support been like? It's got to feel good to have those guys believe in you like that.
Man, it's huge, man. Them guys, Dave, them guys been so Quartermax, man. We've been friends for a very long time. Dave at Nitrous Outlet been behind me since day one. Clyde has been helping me. I always call on Clyde, man. These guys show me love, support me, support my race. This is the first race on the East Coast. They've been supporting every race that I ever had. A lot of people on this. I do 8 races. I have 8 races in my in the books, and this is my 9th race. And Dave has been on with me from day one. So awesome. The support is it's super love, man. I appreciate these guys so much, and these guys make for a great race because when you see these names behind these races like Quartermax, it just makes these people realize that this stuff is for real, man.
Yeah, it's legitimate racing. Yeah, I mean, to see those big brands involved. All right, so we got a couple more quick fun questions for you. I'm just curious. This is just knowing you, West Coast guy. What's playing? What song are you listening to when you're headed to the staging lanes? Are we a Tupac guy?
I feel Tupac. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You a Tupac guy?
He's not here.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Wes not there. Is he there?
Mm-hmm. No, he just keeps talking no matter what, even if he can't hear you.
He had a question. I can't hear his question.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can't see him or hear
him. What?
This is where we need some technical support, JT or Blake. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clear, and I can see you.
You can't hear Wes?
No, or see him.
I can. All right. Well, what he was asking you is what would be your walkout song or your staging lane song when you're coming up to the line? And he wants it to be like a West Coast banger. I know that's what he's going for.
Oh, West Coast banger. Golly, that got to be some old school NWA.
Oh man! All right,
he's going real old school.
Which one is that? Golly, I would have to think about it, man. I hate I can't give an answer right now, but you know what? I'm gonna go with Kendrick Lamar right now.
I figured that was coming. I knew that was coming. That was a setup.
What's the thing?
Not like us.
Yeah, not like us. They not like us.
No,
can you hear and see him now? Can you guys see
me? Yeah, I
and
can
see
see him. Yeah,
okay.
Whoever thought a diss track would become like the hottest song in America?
That boy,
Would you think about that? I feel bad for Drake.
I really did.
His career
ruined his career.
Yeah,
he had like the most successful career ever before that. Then a diss track got him.
But you got to understand, he's done it to people's careers too. He smashed people in that diss rap. So giving it back now, it's his turn.
I think he all but ruined Meek Mill's career.
He did.
I mean, all but ruined it. I mean,
he did.
Game over. Yep. Drake. I mean, he was a killer on those diss tracks, but man, he got a taste of his own medicine, man. It was real rough.
This kid is very diverse. He's phenomenal. It's hard to beat this kid.
It is hard to beat him, man. So what's keeping you up before we let you go, man? I'm just curious, like the midnight checklist. I know what it's like to be 12 days out from a race. What's keeping you up at night?
Well, if I turn these cameras around, y'all see I'm at US 60 right now, and I live way in California. So we burning the late night oil, man. We here, we figuring out the logistics, checking stuff, testing at the same time, trying to get our car as fast as possible, trying to hose out this race, get everything situated. He paved he went crazy. He paved a whole nother aspect of asphalt everywhere new. So it's a lot of work. People don't understand, man. It's a lot of work with promoting. I love it because at the end of the results, you get the support and it shows your hard work pays off. But yeah, we grinding.
We know it's going to be a vibe out there, buddy. We're excited for you. We can't wait to hear more about it. Shout out to Chris Mattingly and the whole team there at US 60. There's Jay Boddie Jr., former Drag Illustrated 30 under 30 alumni, one of our up-and-coming superstars in the sport, man. It's good to see you, buddy. Thank you for helping us set this up. I got to give out to brother Matt, who texted me 6 weeks ago. It was like, hey, we got to get Boddie on the show. I had to ask Matt the other day. I said, Matt, I hate to ask you this. I've known you for like 20 years. What's your last name? I said, I have you programmed in my phone as Matt the Homie. That's literally how I had him saved in my phone. And my wife's like, who's Matt the Homie? And I'm like, oh, he's a dude I hang out with at the racetrack all the time. He's always at XRP. And she's like, I have no idea who you're talking about. So I had to break down and ask him his last name. But whenever he gave it to me, I knew why I didn't have it, because I don't think I can pronounce it. So whatever, I can't pronounce it. But man, we're excited for you guys. We hope you have a hell of a show. And if you need anything from us, you let us know. All right, brother?
Thank you, Wes, man. Appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Good luck this weekend, man.
All right, thank you.
Man, what a day, dude. Those are a couple good interviews. What do you think, JT? I thought Boddie, I love talking to him. He's got good energy, man. I want to hang out with him
too. Like PRI, I think the first time when I met him, it just, he's cool to be around. Period.
Fun. The whole West Coast drag racing contingent, there's a lot of great guys out there, and I've always kind of like hated it because there wasn't enough big races on the West Coast. Like, I used to take a bunch of shit back in the early days of Drag Illustrated for never getting out there, but I would tell them, I was like, dude, them flights are long and expensive. Everything's expensive out there. Your boy, we were trying to build a business, and it was always a big deal if I made it to Pomona once a year, maybe, you know what I mean? And then maybe go to Vegas for the Streetcar Super Nationals. But I'm glad to see the West Coast drag racing scene still doing well. Even if they've got to move east a little bit, I'm still glad to see them well represented.
I try to stay away from Jay Boddie Jr. whenever I see him, because I feel like my Chiefs have picked on him quite a bit here lately. You know, big San Francisco fan.
Oh, is he? I didn't realize he was a big fan.
Yep.
I'm not surprised, man. That whole scene out there, they're 49ers. And you know what's crazy is to see the way the Raiders have taken over Las Vegas. Like, they've got a legit presence there. I didn't know how that would go.
Expensive ticket in the NFL.
That you know, like a bunch of people moved there when the Raiders came there. And
it's just a good excuse. All I need is one good excuse, and I'm moving to Las Vegas.
The whole weekend we were in Vegas, every time Mike and I talk, he's like, "Dude, I think we need to just move out here."
I'm on that kick. I've been there today. It's hot and humid and raining here, and I'm like, "Yep, take me back."
You couldn't live in Vegas, JT? Well, you just die in about 6 to 7 days, probably.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I love going, you know, but I'm not all about that hustle and bustle.
It's rough. I'm telling you, man, for those that we've been staying off the strip.
Yeah.
And you start, if you allow yourself to leave the Las Vegas Strip, it's a great place to be, man. I mean, I would literally live at Red Rock Resort and Casino for the rest of my life.
Me too. Do they have like permanent suites, like, or residences?
I hit them up. I hit him up. I said, "Hey man, is there like a long-term program we could get on where I could spend like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months straight out here? My kids are growing up. My daughter turns 11 next week. Yeah. I mean, shit's happening fast.
I just need a curb down on Fremont Street, and I'm good to go."
No, that's more your scene. We'll come visit.
You could probably get a gig down there doing like, you know, some sort of sideshow act or whatever.
Yeah,
with a couple of those girls with the pasties. You know what I mean, or the naked cowboy or whatever else is going on down there.
I don't think I'd make much money as a naked cowboy, but
you'd probably do better than you think. You're a pretty fun-loving guy.
Yeah, right.
What do you guys think of Alex Laughlin's country music songs?
Put your clothes on.
Speaking of naked cowboys, how about Alex Laughlin? He's produced 2 bangers.
Dude, those are hilarious.
Using AI to its fullest.
I almost grabbed them so we can play them on the show each week. We probably ought to start doing that.
Yeah, let's play him next week.
Go grab it real quick and get it on here.
You know, he's dived into learning to play guitar. You know, his grandfather passed away a few weeks ago, and we were talking, and he knew that I was trying to learn to play guitar.
The whole thing's not AI?
No, it is. It is for sure. He's not actually playing. I mean, I hope I'm not like letting the cat out of the bag here. If you look pretty closely,
it's he was playing. I know he ain't playing the guitar on that.
Yeah, no, he ain't playing the guitar, but he has committed to learning it. He asked me, he's like, "Hey man, you know, we're not getting any younger. Like, how's it going? You learning to play guitar?" And I'm like, "Well, I picked one up like literally for the first time the week after the World Series of Pro Mod, so like early March, and I'm doing okay. I'm making progress." I said it's worth pursuing because I feel like I'm making some progress or whatever. And it's just like anything, reps and sets, you know, like you just got to put in some time. And no, I love it, man. I normally go into a deep depression after World Series of Pro Mod because it's like getting married. Like you put all this energy and effort and every waking moment you're thinking about it. And then one day it's over, you know, and it really messes me up. And I'm like sad and just want to go back to Bradenton and put on another race. And all I can think about is like, okay, next year I'm doing 10 of these deals. And then I got to calm myself down and be like, you know what? Maybe I should just buy a guitar and learn to play guitar for a few months and kind of let that be one of my outlets. And then, you know, come July, we'll start talking World Series of Pro Mod and the Winter Series and getting that ball rolling again, man. I'm looking forward to it, dude. We're about 5 months out
from
the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals. We got a bunch of really, really big stuff happening, changing some of our class lineups. I saw some guys, somebody in the comments a moment ago that they moved from PA, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania to Florida. And it sounds like they'll be down there. I love seeing we've got so many regular fans that come back year after year after year. Have followed us from Denver to Florida. And
down there that much too, you know, like our boy Chadwick, you know, like there's just a bunch of people throughout.
I know. I can't wait to get back to Bradenton, man. I mean, that's another place that I would definitely consider living. I don't see us ever not having like a permanent residence in Texas. But I definitely could be swayed to have a spot in Vegas or to have a spot in Bradenton, Florida. That's for damn sure, man.
I'll take Vegas. You take Florida.
I'll take Florida.
And we'll just all rotate around. North Carolina is close enough to Florida that for me to not have as much of a change.
Place. And
Kevin Stevenson talking about the upgrades going on. I got an exciting one today. I had a meeting with a chat with Josh Dowda, the GM down at Bradenton this morning, and we were talking because one of the things that I really wanted to address, is the audio. Like, I want to have a better PA system. I want to be able to play more music. I want the fans to hear Al Tucci. I want the fans to hear Brian Loans and Steve Logan and yourself, Mike Carpenter. I want the voices of our event to be heard from the starting line to the very far corner of the track. So we got like 10 OS 80 speakers being installed this summer. We got 42 more audio music horns, not just voice only horns. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a lot more sound system. So
I think they basically are replacing. They're making it so we don't bring in additional equipment, and we won't need that. Everything can tap into what's going on with the house, which is going to just be a game changer.
It really will be, man, because that was one of the difficult, because I sat in the grandstands a lot because I'd have a fan say, hey, I can't hear. Dan Parker sent me this text. He's like, hey, I know you love the music, but I can't hear the audio, the PA. And I'm like, well, I went up to the stands and I actually had our DJ kill the music. And I'm like, shit, you could still barely hear the PA. So we're fixing that. And I'm excited, man. I mean, the ingress and egress has always been an issue at Bradenton. There's one way in that joint, one way out. Now we got 3 lanes versus 1.5-ish or whatever. So I think getting in and out of the facility, especially when you've got a big ass crowd there, is going to be a much more manageable thing.
They're also redoing the starting line area behind the water box and laying a bunch of cable so that you don't have to go fly cables over the top of the track. And then, there's just kind of getting a lot of stuff going on up there with those telephone poles and all that stuff. So it's going to be like a cleaner look, I think, once all that's done also.
It's going to look good, man. It's going to really look good. I'm excited for that piece of concrete there behind the starting line, because that's just begging for a big ass logo on it, right? I've been waiting for a spot to paint or to bring in somebody to do a badass logo on there. And I can't wait. Either one of that, or can you print vinyl at Victory Vinyl? Can you do those ground decals now?
Oh yeah. Can I print vinyl? We can do that.
Can you do those ground decals?
Core part of the business.
It's kind of near. I don't know.
They're special, aren't they?
It's called street wrap. Yeah, no, it's just a special material.
Okay, well, you better start getting some pricing on it.
Oh, I can. They're expensive.
I need the cheapest. No. We need that.
They are. They're pricey, actually. But
put it
we'll
on
get
somebody
you
else's
up.
Invoice. You know what I mean?
I'll just build it in.
Yep. Build it in, you know what I mean? That type of thing. Well, hey, guys, I appreciate it a bunch, dude. What a great show. I appreciate all you guys joining us. Huge shout out to Cory Reed, Joey Gladstone, and of course, Jay Boddie for joining us and talking drag racing here with all of you. Thank you guys for being a part of this deal. I had Camry Caruso in the house. Look, she says she needs to schedule the new ride over at Victory Vinyl, buddy.
We'll get you hooked up.
That's exciting.
When are you coming back? When's Camry?
I don't know. Let's see if she'll drop some news in the chat here.
Give us your schedule.
I'm excited to hear this.
I think it was between 2 races. Like, I can't remember.
I did see something. She dropped like a little hint on social about coming back out. Nothing. I didn't see anything official though.
No, dude. It's Pro Stock, I think, is in a really good place right now, to be honest with you. I mean, they've got like a stable of regular contenders. I think we're going to see, IHRA Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Okay.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, 16 days, a little over 2 weeks, I think, something like that, from the IHRA's return to professional drag racing. See Scott Palmer, Jack Wyatt, Dale Creasy Jr., Terry Haddock. Terry Haddock's been running really, really, really well. They'd made some test passes down at XRP over the weekend, and we're getting after it. So I'm excited, man. I think it's there's a lot of those guys that are looking for an option, looking for a place to race, and not necessarily have to throw Krista Baldwin, Cameron Fieri, Ferre. Yeah, Cameron Ferre, all diving into that deal.
I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting to watch and to see what kind of pressure that potentially puts on NHRA at the these people that we've said back in the day. IHRA, I mean, it was a haven for the racers like we just named, and then now it's like you either go NHRA racing or there's no other option. And so for them to have this option and go run for some good money and be competitive, I think it's going to put some pressure on NHRA in some ways that were maybe unexpected. But just happy for teams like that it can go have an additional place to race. That's how we always race. I know there's a lot of like these mountain motor sportsman racers, pro mod racers that are wanting that to succeed, and a lot of the promotion and stuff I've seen is kind of reminding me of those days. So definitely looking forward to it.
And there needs, I mean, we've said for a long time, the NHRA there was never a better time for the NHRA, in my opinion, than when the IHRA was at its height, right? When there were a couple of options and there was a development league. There was a place for guys to go and learn how to race and learn how to compete at that level.
And run a program, efficiently and not just completely lose their ass financially. I think that's key. Like actually maybe make your fuel money back or something like that, so that it makes it a more sustainable operation. I think that's key. I think that's probably the best way to say what I was trying to say earlier. It's a place where teams like that can go and be sustainable.
I got a Scott Palmer a little gift that he needs to take with him because he's full in on it.
Scott's all in on the strawberry.
Oh yeah, look at that.
He's all in on the strawberry.
All that in the clearance aisle, and I was like, Palmer needs
it's a Kate Spade strawberry pool inflatable.
Yeah, lights up too, man. I mean,
hey man, that's going to be hanging in the trailer. You know as well as I do, that's going to be hanging in Scott Palmer's trailer. You need to next day air that to him.
Have we heard any word? We got to talk to Scott.
Here for like 2 weeks. Yeah, I need to send it to him.
We always feel like, Scott's he's on the nitro kicking now again. Like we got to get him back to pro mod.
Grab him and shake him by the shoulders, man.
Now we got to know what
swinging doors.
Yeah, what's his program going to look like as we head to Winter Series? We got to see.
Well, I tell you what, man, it ain't
going to be that Corvette.
I can't say because I don't know how official it is, but he's working on some shit that could be really, really seismic for him and putting him in a position to go down there and do what he's wanted to do. And that's be in the mix, be in the hunt, and have a chance to win. And that's another thing that's just good for drag racing. When we have these guys that have fan followings, that have a big personality, that are a character, we need them behind the wheel of cars that are doing well. I mean, going back to our country music superstar, Alex Laughlin, I can't tell you how happy I am to see him having the success that he's having in NHRA Pro Mod. I mean, it's no doubt that that's an extremely difficult place to race, and to see him way up on the qualifying sheets and going some rounds. I mean, he's been a threat to win the last few races, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. And we need guys like that having success on the racetrack. I mean, we need the dudes that are playing it both ways. They're an active driver. They're talking about, they're active on social media. They've got active fan followings. We need them in cars that are winning. There's no doubt about it, man.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to
hearing. All right, boys and girls. Sure. Well, hey, I appreciate you all. Mike, JT, Blake, all of you, our team here at Drag Illustrated. Appreciate all the hard work and everything it takes to make this show happen every Wednesday. And of course, all of you. It wouldn't be any fun to do if we didn't get to talk with all of y'all. We look forward to seeing you at the drag races. And of course, we'll see you right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Talk soon, boys.